Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how you can send JSON push messages out of AMFG. Specifically, I'm going to show you how you can send the order push message. So what you'll need to do is first you'll need to configure an API key. And so it's in this section titled API keys. And so I'll create one and I will call it Radiant. And I'll say this is outgoing. And the secret, I'll generate a secret and I'll create it. So now I have a Radiant outgoing API. And now what you need to do is you need to go into workflow automation and create a trigger. So for example, what I'll do is I'll say if my ticket status changes to perhaps invoiced, then it should send a push message with the order push message. And I'm going to choose the latest version. And now it's the endpoint. Now I need to configure this. And of course, there's multiple middleware softwares that you can use, such as Zapier, Make.com, and any alternative. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I will show you Make.com. So I've got my Make here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new scenario. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a webhook scenario, and ultimately I want it to be a triggered when a webhook receives data. That's specifically what I want. And so I'm going to now create a hook, and I'm going to call this Radiant Test, and I'm going to click Save. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. I'm going to copy this address to the clipboard, and you can see it's now listening for the data. And now I'm going to configure that endpoint right there. I'm going to say this is that this is Radiant. The secret is Radiant, and this is Radiant, and I'm going to put in my email right here. Okay, so now this should be configured, and I'm going to click Create. So now I know that if I change the ticket status to invoice, it should now send data to this endpoint. And we can see here that it's waiting for the data to get sent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my work orders overview, and I'm going to change one of these to invoiced. That should then trigger the data to get sent here. So there we go, successfully determined. Now I'm going to click Save. Now I have the power to integrate this with anything I want to. And perhaps that could be Google Sheets, it could be QuickBooks. Really, the list goes on and on. I could say QuickBooks, I could do a Google Sheets integration. And ultimately, what this will allow me to do is that I can use the data that I received in this JSON message to then map it out anywhere I'd like to. And so if I just click this run once again, I can show you this data. If I click invoiced, and now you can see in here the type of data that we're able to receive from AMFG. The order ID, customer ID, the prices, the address, the part details. The list goes on and on. And what I'll do is in this email, I'll also include an example of what data you can get out of AMFG. And so using this, you can configure your own integrations. You can also do data tracking for analytics, or if you want to know at the end of the year how much money you made, it's very helpful in this case instead of manually exporting CSVs from AMFG. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please email if you have any questions.